Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Grace Tori, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are talking about the most toxic relationships I could possibly find on Reddit. Some of them are from Best of Reddit updates because conclusions are very important around here, and some are from Am I the Devil? None of them are like too crazy because I don't want to get into like super trigger warning territory because we try to keep it like fun and fresh over here. But there is some behavior that's, like, questionable. Obviously, I'm gonna call it out and say, "Do not do this, and this is not okay." But I did wanna give you guys a heads up if that is something that is worrisome or bothersome for you. Maybe this isn't the best episode for you, but there are plenty of other ones I have made that you may enjoy more. So before I jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all the fun things. Takes about 0.2 seconds, is 100% free, helps me accomplish my goal slash dream of making this podcast a community that we all take part in, we all comment on, we all chit chat, and just have the best time. I am one of the nosiest people on the planet, but I don't like to be directly involved in the drama. I just like to watch and know everything about the drama. And I feel like a lot of you guys are that way too. So if you're that type of person, you like the tea, you like the stories, but you don't want to be in the drama, this is the perfect place for you to be. And I want to know your opinions about every single story. So be sure to comment if you can and you're on a platform where you can do so. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Grace Story, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. We are starting off a little bit less hectic and a little bit more audacious with Am I the a-hole for calling a HVAC tech instead of letting my girlfriend, quote unquote, repair it? And this is from Am I the Devil? I, 29 male, am a musician. My girlfriend, 28 female, is a software engineer. She studied electrical engineering before switching into software, and ever since then, she kind of thinks she knows everything about anything remotely technical. We've been having issues with the mini split heater pump system in the house she owns. It stopped heating properly and was throwing error codes. She immediately wanted to open the unit herself and take a look inside, and he put "take a look inside" in quotes, as that's what she said, I'm assuming. I wasn't comfortable with that because HVAC systems deal with high voltage and refrigerant, and if something goes wrong, you're looking at a huge repair bill. Hold on. So, are we saying you're not worried about her safety, you're just worried about the bill? Because I'm a little confused here. Also, ooh, if she's trained in it, like, I don't know how much of electrical engineering, transfers, but I'm assuming she knows the basics. Like, she knows enough to take a look because if you studied it, it's kind of like electrical stuff is similar across the board, no? Like, it's like negatives and positives and stuff. Like, my boyfriend does cars and he kind of knows the vibes when it comes to other stuff. Obviously, he's not over here like putting an electrical system in our house, like adding outlets or anything, but he knows enough to like do little things around the house. So, what's wrong with her taking a look? I don't know. So I called a professional HVAC tech, friend of a friend, to come check it out. All right. It's not your house, but okay. When the tech came, he took the unit apart, poked around for a bit, and said the issue was probably refrigerant leaks somewhere in the system and that the control board was quote unquote acting up because of it. He also said the unit is old and no longer supported by the manufacturer, so replacement parts aren't really available, and that we should plan to replace the whole system eventually. He did not do any pressure tests or anything, just a visual inspection and some quick checks, and left it at that. After he left, my girlfriend insisted he leave the control board exposed and not close the unit completely because she wanted to inspect it herself. She went online, found pirated service manuals and board schematics, and started testing the board with a multimeter. Now, hold on. Why did you have to add that it was pirated? Are you just trying to, like, justify wherever you can? Like, I feel like you're being nitpicky. Like, she did this, but just so you guys know, she did it the wrong way. She did it in a way that is not correct because, like, dude, what do you mean pirated? I didn't even know that service manuals could be. Like, I used to work at a fan company, a kind of popular one. You guys might know them. But they had service manuals on their website. And we would tell people a lot of the time, like, go on the service, like, go on the website and there's service manuals for even the fans that were, like, no longer being made. They were on the website. It was so I don't know how it could be pirated because wouldn't people need access to the service manual? Anyway, maybe I'm just getting too in the weeds, but saying that just doesn't make sense and like it doesn't add to the story. It just makes you look like a dick. Sorry. She claimed the tax leak theory made no sense because if the refrigerant was actually leaking, replacing an electrical component would not magically make the system heat again. She does make sense. I don't know anything about this stuff, but that makes sense to me. What is fixing something that has nothing to do with a leak? How does that fix the leak? You know, like we're not duct taping anything. We're not getting rid of any leak options. Maybe I'm just dumb. Don't come for me. All of this is very lighthearted. None of this is super, super deep. So if you're a HVAC person, don't be like, excuse me, Grace, you're an idiot, because I know. But yeah, that just doesn't make sense. She ended up identifying a failed electrolytic capacitor on the control board and ordered a replacement one. When it arrived, she soldered it in herself. Soldered it in herself? Sorry if I'm like butchering this. The system turned back on and is now heating like normal. Insane. Insane how that works. Now she's acting like this proves the HVAC guy was completely wrong and that I was wrong for calling him in the first place. She is also insisting that I pay for the HVAC visit since he misdiagnosed it, even though she owns the house and still benefited from having someone come out and take a look. Sir, the fact that you are even asking her to pay for it when she didn't want them and you called them anyway is insane. Like the fact that you called them even though she said no is kind of crazy, but the fact that you like did it and you're still expecting her to pay, double whammy. That's insane. No, game over. We're done here. JK, there's still more to read. I am still uneasy about it. Just because it works now does not mean it actually is fixed long term. To me, this feels like forcing a failing system to limp along instead of addressing the real issue. She is not an HVAC tech or a licensed electrician. She works on computers all day. She is also very girly and normally super careful about her appearance, like she freaks out about breaking a nail or ruining her manicure, which makes it even harder for me to take her seriously when she's suddenly elbow deep in wiring and soldering irons. Excuse me, women can't be girly and smart. Like, my best friend is a coal miner and she is badass. Like, she gets her nails done. She's like a little 5'4" girly. Like, she's very girly when it comes to it. But then you'll also catch her with coal all over her face, getting down and dirty, doing her job. Like, that's just how people, like, women being multifaceted. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Literally insane. Also, to the point where you're like, but she works on computers. Okay. I have 3 college degrees and I use maybe one of them. Like, I was in pony club growing up. I studied equine science and management as one of my degrees in college. And I still have a horse. I love my horse with my whole heart, but I don't actively work in the equine industry right now. Does that mean I just suddenly lost all of that knowledge? Like all of those internships, all of that experience? Like I just suddenly, whoop, it's gone because I'm working in a different industry? No, your logic makes no sense. Maybe I'm a woman scorned because we had an HVAC guy come out recently and our HVAC wasn't working. So he came out, our heat wasn't working. It was freezing. It was right before the big storm. And he came out, looked at it. My boyfriend had just replaced a part on it that our friend who does HVAC for a living had like FaceTimed him and walked him through. And the friend was like, yes, no, that's correct. Good to go. So the guy came out, looked at the unit, broke the brand new part, told us that was the problem, and then charged us $500 for him to come back out and replace it. It turned out that we were just out of gas because we have a gas heat because old farmhouse. So it really wasn't that part at all. He genuinely did break it. But since we couldn't prove it, we still had to pay the $500. So I'm a little scorned with the HVAC guys right now. Like, not all HVAC guys, obviously, but I'm just going to be a little peeved about it for a little while. Anyway, there is two more sentences, one more paragraph. Now she's mad at me for quote unquote not trusting her competence and says I do not respect her technical background. I feel like I'm just being cautious about safety and reliability. It's the age old misogynistic view that women can't be funny, girly, smart, all at the same time. Like, I crack a lot of jokes, but I don't like objectively, I'm pretty smart. Like, I was ahead in school. I had like 9 full rides in college. I don't talk about those things, but to say like I'm not smart would just not be factually correct because there are markers like ACT scores and stuff that prove otherwise. All that to say, when I do something or say something smart, people are so shocked because I also tend to be funny and lighthearted, like, on that side of it, and I also like to be girly when the time calls for it. Like, I had pink in my hair for, like, a year. I loved bows in my hair. I typically have my nails done, like, I can do my makeup like nobody's business. And it's so hard for people to understand that you can be more than one thing at once, and that is my big issue with, like, society as a whole. Obviously, I have lots of issues with society, this is just one, but for you to feel that way about your girlfriend is just insane. You should not feel that way about your girlfriend, like, you should know how smart your girlfriend is. You should know, like, she is good at what she is, and you should just trust her, period. Like, if she says, "I can do this," you should trust her. If you're, like, a little on edge, hold the flashlight for her, be a part of it. Google things if she needs help, but don't underestimate her and just be like, actually, like, no, you get your nails done, so there's no way you're good at electrical stuff." Okay. No. No. No, the women in STEM strike again and emasculate silly little men who don't own their own house, but she does. Like, full stop, it's her house. Even if she did mess it up, it's her house. And I guarantee we just bought a house, it's expensive. She's not gonna put a bunch of money into a house or, like, do something to intentionally fuck up the house. Sorry for my language. Um, because it's expensive. Like, she knows how expensive it is. It's her house. She knows how expensive owning a house is. She's not gonna be like, "You know what? I don't know what I'm doing, but let's just take a shot in the dark," and then probably have to pay way more money. No, she's not an idiot. Any engineer is very smart. To get through school to be an engineer is crazy. So this comment pretty much sums it up really well. It says, "This is her house. You're the a-hole. You called the guy in without her say so. You're the a-hole. And you expect her to pay? You're the a-hole? And you think her years of study and work are irrelevant because of her appearance? Big, you're the a-hole. Pretty much. Like, I hate the I'll get off my high horse, but it's one of my major pet peeves when, like, people just can't compute that you can be more than one thing at once. Moving on, this is from Best of Redditor Updates, but it is, "My daughter, 18 female, blames me, 52 female, and my husband, 55 male, for ruining her book." If you guys don't know, I wrote a book, but I haven't published it yet. That's like a poetry book, but I'm also currently writing a fantasy book, so this hits like really close to home. So I may have a lot of opinions, as per usual. Very opinionated. My daughter, Sarah, who is 18, is currently at college. A few months ago, she came to me and told me she was writing a book. She loves writing and she seemed very excited about the book, telling me constantly the word count and how many pages, the character development, etc. She told me not to tell my husband and her father, James, because he can be very controlling and she wanted it to be a surprise. I don't know why she said my husband and her father, James, because when I first read that, I thought that that meant they were two different people, but I guess they're the same person. Anyway, she came home for a visit 3 weeks ago, telling me that she finally finished the book and it was 250 pages, and she told both of us. She sent James the book. He gets up much earlier than she does, about 4 a.m., while she will wake up at noon when she doesn't need to be up early. And in this time, when he read the first chapter, he rewrote it and told me that it would be an entirely new story. He told me that he didn't like the original first chapter, and that was why he wrote the story. Blood's already boiling, but I'm trying to hold back until I read the whole thing to just kind of let it all out at once. When she woke up, he told her about his rewrite and how he had a new amazing book. Sarah has a terrible temper, and she got upset, telling him that she wanted him to read her story and she didn't want a new story. He got upset at her in turn, telling her that she wasn't even giving his story a chance. Okay, I don't like how you're saying, like, she has a terrible temper and she got upset, almost like you're justifying, like you're saying, like, she has a terrible temper. Like, you're saying negative things about her, but him so far, you're like, oh, he just, like, gets up earlier, like, like, hardworking man. You didn't say that, but it's kind of implied, like, the way that you're speaking about her compared to him, it seems like you're on his side, but anyway, continuing. Of course, I was in the middle. Sarah was demanding I read her story, and James was demanding I read his first chapter. I read the chapter that James had rewrote and confessed that I wasn't a fan of it. Sarah was furious that he hadn't bothered to read the rest of the story, and like I said, she has a bad temper, so she told him that she hated the rewrite. Okay, wait. She has a bad temper and that's why she hated the rewrite, not because he literally undermined all of her work and said, "This is terrible. I'm going to rewrite it the way I want, even though it's not my story." And I had the full capability to go and write a story that is completely different. And especially if the storyline is going to be completely different, why wouldn't he go do that anyway? Why does it have to have anything to do with her book? Like, why can't he just be like, "Wow, this is inspiring. I'm going to go write a book now." Why does it have to be her? Anyway, Sarah was furious that he hadn't bothered. Like I said, now this is my favorite line, I think. He stormed off to his room and I didn't see him for the rest of the day. He's not 12, by the way. This is her 55-year-old husband and the mother or father of her child. Sarah decided to leave to go back to college as it was a Sunday. In the morning, he sent Sarah this email, which he also forwarded to me. "From now on, I would ask that you not show me any of your writing or ask for any help editing anything. I am sure that by now you and Ma have discussed our problem, and I no longer want to be involved in your writing in any way. Please see Ma for your future editing needs. By the way, the story you wrote is a ripoff of a specific TV show and is trite and poorly written. It would need a major rewrite if you wanted to do anything with it. And as I said, I will not be the one to rewrite it." Dude, this doesn't sound like a father who's, like, helping his daughter. This sounds like a, 12-year-old boy who's like, I didn't get my way." Like, be so for real. Sarah and James are currently not speaking. James and I argue a lot, so our relationship is basically fine. That's a red flag. Like, we all go through phases where, like, our relationship is rocky and then it's fine. Like, that's just how life works. Sometimes things are gonna be more tense and a little bit more stressful, therefore, it's probably gonna have more arguments than other times. But to say, "Uh, we're always fighting, so this is just the usual," that's not good, bestie. He just does not mention Sarah, his daughter, by the way. He feels as though he is the wronged party here because we, and I quote, "did not give his story a chance." I tried to read the book, but I must confess that I found the first chapter a little hard to get through too, so I stopped reading, and I told Sarah this. I'm still not over the fact that he's saying you didn't give his story a chance. It never was his story. It's her story. He's just trying to make it his story, and it's not his place to do so. And the fact that you told Sarah, okay, let me at least finish this update. I told Sarah that I wasn't a fan of fiction and that it was hard for me to read books. She called me crying and told me that she worked for months on this book and was so excited about it and that she wanted her parents to support her on it. She told me that I treated her like I'd treat a stranger on the street and I didn't even try to read past the first chapter. I agree. I told her I'd try to read it again and she said don't bother, that the project is ruined and that she won't be working on a second draft. I feel like the bad guy here and I don't know how to proceed. Should I try to read the book or give it up like she said? Should I be speaking to my husband or should I just let it go? Okay, listen, dummy. As someone who is writing a book, as someone who has done quite a few creative endeavors, such as this podcast, that my family don't quite understand. I have a very traditional family where, typical 9 to 5s, they're not out here doing super creative endeavors. Not that they couldn't, it's just that they haven't chosen to. So when I say I'm writing a book or I'm starting a podcast or whatever, they're not experts in it. My mom is a brilliant writer. She is really good at English. I get a lot of it from her where, like grammar rules and things like that. She's a really, really good writer and she always has been, but she's not like a fiction writer. That being said, I learned very, very quickly to not send my work to friends or family and ask for critique. If I'm sending that to you, please lie. It is okay to lie. And I'm not telling you to go above and beyond and say it is amazing, it is the best thing I've ever read when it's not, but to say like, "Wow, great, you're doing so good." Like, if you don't like it, there are things that you can say that speak to the person's character versus the plot. Like, a good thing that you could have said to her is, "Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan of fiction, but I am so proud of you for putting the time in to write this. It's really great, and it may take me a little bit longer because I'm not used to reading, so 250 pages is kind of a lot, but I'm gonna get through it, and I want you to know I'm so proud of you. This was so hard, and you did it. Because it's not easy to write a book. I'm still on my first draft, and I'm, like, 12 chapters in. I've been 12 chapters in for a year because I've rewritten those 12 chapters 100 times, and part of that is my OCD. Again, I'm working through it in therapy, but it's hard. It takes a lot of self-discipline, it takes a lot of creativity, it takes a lot of, um perseverance when you don't feel like writing or you don't feel like you're qualified to write. And so to tell an 18-year-old who wrote a book, fiction's not my thing, I'm not gonna read it. And that's your daughter? Insane. Insane. So yeah, from one creative to another, if you are creative listening or watching this, don't give your work asking for critiques. Give it to them and say, hey, I'm really proud of this. Like, I just wanted to show somebody. I just wanted to show somebody because I'm really proud of it, and it's not at the point where it's published or anything, but I did something really hard, and I want you to appreciate it with me for a second. So, yeah, mhm. The dad is at this point, he seems like a little baby who can't accept that things are out of his control. Like, if his daughter wants to write a book, I'm sorry, that's not your narrative. That's not your book. Like, it seems like he has a control issue. He's like, this is not going the way I want it to. I must fix it. No, you shouldn't. You should write your own book. There's no shortage of books in the world. Like, it's not a competition. I mean, obviously, like, trad publishing is this whole other beast, but, like, everyone can write a book. There is enough space for all of us. If every single person in the world wanted to write a book, there's someone out there to read your book. So, yeah, don't turn that moment into your moment. It was your daughter's moment, who is very young, just now getting out on her own, and wrote an 250-page book in a couple months. Okay? I've been at it for a year and I'm 12,000 words in. Maybe I'm a little behind. I know. But still, it's just, oof. Let's read the update. By the way, people, like, the relevant comments are just like, your husband sucks. Why can't you just read the damn book? And she's like, so I should read the book? Should I actually? Yes, you should. Gosh. Someone said, "Ugh, are you kidding me? That's your daughter. You finished the book whether you like it or not. You barely gave it a chance. A chapter? Seriously? That, like, all of this because you read one chapter? Like, I'd give up writing too. I have really bad imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not confident in myself. Again, I'm working through it in therapy. I'm learning how much OCD and imposter syndrome are, like, hand in hand. But if someone read the first chapter of my book and said, I hate this. It's ripped off of a TV show. I'm rewriting it. And that was someone who means a lot to me that like, their opinion is highly valued in my psyche. I would be so, so, so upset. I would never, ever, ever write again. Like, ooh, it would take a lot of therapy to get through that one. There's an update from the next day. This update is very soon, but I felt as though it was urgent because today's Easter and I didn't want it to be ruined for Sarah. It's a little late. I decided to apologize to her again. Since she told me explicitly not to look at the book, I wanted to tell her that I want to read the book and discuss it with her so she'd give the okay. I tried to call her last night. Wait, I'm doing the math in my head and you said it was Sunday and then today is the next day, but Easter is always on a Sunday. I'm gonna let that go, but okay. That doesn't make a ton of sense. Since she told me explicitly not to look at the book, I wanted to tell her that I wanted to read the book and discuss it with her so she'd give the okay. I tried to call her last night. She didn't answer. She might have been out, so I wrote an email apologizing and telling her that I really wanted to read her book because I knew I was missing out. That is a good way to, start. It's going to take a lot more than that, but she called me this afternoon and told me basically that it was too late. She said that she'd apologized to James and tried to appeal to me, and both times it was a mistake. She also said something about how she didn't believe I wanted to really read it, and she wasn't going to let me just so I'll feel better. She told me not to bother calling again and hung up. I apologized, and she didn't forgive me. This is the first time she's ever not been with us for Easter. I read all of what you told me, and I don't want to lose her, but I cannot control my husband. I can only control myself. Yeah, but you also could, like, tell your husband he's an idiot more. It almost sounds like you were, like, trying to play the middle, and you're just, like, not trying to be mean to anybody or, like, call anybody out. You need to call your husband out because that's just gross behavior. And, like, you also need to be held accountable. You're not in the clear here either. I don't know what else to do because I'm pretty sure she is done with us. I would not be surprised. Someone said, give her space, she needs it. And if you need this much guidance on how to be a parent, you need the space too. I agree. That's the last update. I would love to know your thoughts on how you would handle that as well as the previous story. But I thought that was crazy. Like, what? That's your daughter. Like, even if she came up to you and wrote a children's book that was not very well written, you still support her. Okay? This one's a little bit shorter. It's originally from Off My Chest, but then was moved to Am I the Devil? I just thought it was crazy. So here we are. I hate my friend's husband for not choosing me. Friend and I are in late 20s. He's in early 30s. I met my friend's husband around a year before they met. We became friends with benefits, and it went on for a while, even though he was in a relationship with someone else for part of that. I caught feelings, but with him juggling multiple high stress jobs in graduate school, he said he didn't have the kind of time to be in a relationship. Around the time that phase died down and he had picked a single lane, we stopped hooking up because he went on a multiple month trip across the globe to advance his career. A few months after he came back, he met my friend at an event, and even though he knew she was my friend, he got together with her within weeks. I'm pretty sure he just got off on the fact that he was her first. He never told her about me or about cheating on his ex or how he constantly slept around before her. I have been in the camp of once a cheater, always a cheater for a long time. My question is, did you tell her about this? Because, like, it sounds like you're not being the girl's girl, you're just jealous. Like, did you bring that up to her, like, as a concerned friend? Because if you're saying that and you're just jealous, she's gonna know. And she's not gonna believe you. She's gonna be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But if you say that and you're actually concerned and you actually care about her, then it may go farther. You know, I do think that people can change. Like, I know people that cheated, like, in high school or whatever, and as an adult, they don't cheat anymore, but they were also very, very young. So I don't know how much of that camp I'm in now versus I used to be. Like, I used to be 100% was a cheater, always a cheater, of that mindset. But now that I don't know, I think that when you are really young, you can grow out of it. But I'm side-eyeing you because your motives are not great. Like, you know what I mean? You 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 don't care about your friend. You actually kind of don't want your friend to have what's making her happy, which is this guy. So, I don't know. They've been together ever since, and she's blinded by her love for him. They moved states about 2 years later, and things took off for him. She stayed in touch with our friend group, and we've been meeting up often now that they moved back a few months ago. She looks at him like he hung the moon. They have more money than they'll ever possibly need. They have kids, but I can see through his act of being this hardworking husband and father and the success story that he is still the same misogynistic a-hole. I absolutely hate him. I met him first. I wanted a relationship. I would have supported him like she did. Moved states for him. Been a good mom to the kids, but somehow she got his attention. She's super introverted, quiet, and shy. So I don't know how that happened in the first place. Meanwhile, I have a good life on paper and everything is fine, but it's not the same in any way to what she gets from him. I don't know why I was good enough to use, but not be his girlfriend or wife. Sorry, I got a little dramatic in the reading there. I'm feeling myself today. I've been a little bit sassy today. But I just felt like that needed drama because it sounds insane. Like, she sounds crazy. I hate to throw that word around, but yeah, she's a little loca. Someone said, why you want him as a husband when he is a misogynistic a-hole? And someone commented and said, because he have money. So, I don't know if that's the case. I think that at the end of the day, there are people who will never understand that he's just not that into you. And it goes both ways. She's just not that into you. Like, you could be the best person in the world. You could make all this money. You could be so smart. You could be so beautiful. But if they're not into you, they're not into you. Like, everyone has a different preference. And he wasn't in the space of life where he wanted to settle down when you guys were doing your thing. You were also the side piece. And personally, I think that when guys see that you're willing to be the side piece, they are less likely to want to, like, see a future with you, you know? Like, outside of you being the side piece. Because it shows, like, a lack of respect for yourself as well as knowing what you want for your future. Like, when you put that hard boundary down and say, like, no, in my future, I want a man who respects me and like it's clearly not you, and you clearly don't respect other women if you're cheating, then sorry if you guys can hear my dog just munching in the background. He is going to town on his dinner. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like that is from everything I've observed. Obviously, I haven't read like research on this, like case studies, but from everything I've observed from being the side piece and not even knowing it when I was younger, or like having friends who are still side pieces, like that is just what it seems. So, correct me if I'm wrong, nicely. What do you guys think though? I just think that she's not coming from a kind place, and if she genuinely cared about the friend, she would be like coming from a place of concern, but she's clearly just jealous. And you'll never know why he doesn't like you. You'll never know because there's not always a reason. Sometimes it's just no spark. Like, that is what it is. This one made me laugh. I haven't read it yet, but the title made me laugh because it's something I would do. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend to stop picking up earthworms in front of my friends? My boyfriend would never tell me to stop doing that. He would just like, we'd laugh it off. But I definitely would be the one to pick up earthworms if they were like in the road. Like, they gotta go away. You know, obviously, you're not supposed to put them after it's rained. You're not supposed to put them like right back there because apparently they can drown or something like that, like in the mud or water or whatever. I don't really know if that's true. I heard that, and now I just want to do what's best for them. So I try to, you know, be kind. Coming from a girl who can't even literally kill a fly, like, not in my house. There's literally no way of writing this without it sounding weird, but here you go. My girlfriend, 26 female, and I, 27 male, have been dating for 3 months. She's super cool and it's all going really well, so I thought it was time to introduce her to my friends from school back home. Now, some things to note about my girlfriend. She's quite petite, probably about 5 foot, and she dresses like, I quote, a kid's TV presenter. She also gets very excited about things very easily. This means that she often gets read as being a lot younger than she actually is, which can be annoying, but is also hilarious as she's probably the most intelligent person I've ever met. It's an odd contradiction, but I think it's really cute. When we got to my hometown, we decided to meet my friends at a local park, which has a lake and a set of gardens. It had been raining the day before, and the ground was still pretty wet, but we planned on walking around the lake with my friends because we all live life on the edge. We got there, and everyone seemed to like my girlfriend, and they all got on well. It changed when she noticed that there were lots of earthworms that had got themselves stranded on the wet pavement. My girlfriend is a complete softie when it comes to worms and snails, and she always saves them whenever she sees them. It's a personality quirk. I wouldn't call it a personality quirk. I mean, it's just something that she does. Like, it's not quirky. It's just like she has like she's empathetic. I don't really like I wouldn't go to be like, "Oh, she's weird because she does this." No, I think that she just has empathy. She has a folder of photos on her phone of all the worms and snail friends she makes, and she carries a bottle of hand sanitizer with her at all times, just in case. She seems kind of wholesome. So as soon as she realized that there were worms that needed saving, she got right to work and just knelt down right there on the ground in front of my friends and started picking up the worms, literally talking to them and saying stuff like, I wish I were kidding. Let's sort you out. You've got yourself into a real situation here. So, bestie, wait, I want to be friends with her because same. Stop. I love this for her, by the way. My friends all started laughing then, and I honestly couldn't tell if they were laughing with or at her, so I said to her, Hey, do you think you could give the worm stuff a rest? And she said, Just let me pick up a couple more. To which I said, Let's pay attention to my human friends, not your worm ones, like adults do. And that made her stop. Okay, you didn't even know if they were making fun of her or not. And instead of saying to them, Guys, come on, like, let's not make, are you guys making fun? Like, you immediately sided with them and were like, no, that's embarrassing. You should stop. It doesn't matter what she's doing. It doesn't matter if you think it's weird or not. Like, that's your girl. Like, you should side with her. Because we've also only been dating for 3 months. So, like, she should break up with her, or she should break up with you and then go find a man who doesn't care that she cares about worms and tells them that she's going to help them. I mean, She looked kind of embarrassed and I felt bad, and then all my friends told her that we could have a worm rescuing session if she wanted, but she seemed reluctant. See, it sounds like your friends were even like, "Ooh, why did he say that? That's rude." Like, yeah. It's like, cause I get it. Like, I get so stressed when I see, like, a worm, and if I don't stop and help him, I'm like, "He's gonna die." And maybe that makes me weird. Maybe that makes me so weird, but I'm like, "Oh my gosh, if I don't help him, what if he dies and then it's on my hands? I killed a worm." I'm sorry. Maybe that's my mental illness. But for her to also, for him to say that to her, I just know that she felt so embarrassed because, like, she probably doesn't even see what she's doing as weird. Like, I don't see it as weird. And there have been times where I've done something and my boyfriend has been like, "That's weird." Like, not in a mean way, but like "I've noticed you do this. It's kinda weird. Why do you do that?" And I didn't even know I did it or that it was weird. Like, I just do it. So, I get it. My friends all told me later that they really liked her and that they thought the worm thing was cute, but she stopped showing me photos of the little critters on her phone now, and I'm worried I was a total a-hole and need to apologize. The reason I'm not sure I'm the a-hole is that I told her to stop because I was worried my friends were laughing at her, so I said it to protect her, not shame her. My thing is, if you said it to protect her, you should have said something to the friends, not her. Oh, someone said it so well. You're the a-hole. You single-handedly dulled the light in her eyes because you were afraid of what people might think. This is so good. That is the perfect way to explain it. And that was from Am I the Devil? It's an older one, so there's not an update or anything, but it says in Am I the Devil, they put the title, I hate that my girlfriend is kind. Am I the a-hole? So, yeah, they get it too. But, I don't know. I obviously, like, he's an a-hole. Am I the a-hole for siding with my boyfriend after he punished my son for asking for money to watch his step-siblings? I, 36 female, have been with my boyfriend, male 41, for 2 years. He has 3 kids, 6, 12, and 4, while I have a 16-year-old son. The other day, my 12-year-old stepson fell off the stairs and injured his ankle. His dad and I had to get him to the hospital and needed someone to stay with the kids while we were there. My boyfriend told my son to skip workday and stay with and watch his stepbrothers. When we returned, my son asked my boyfriend to pay him for quote unquote babysitting his kids. I admit my son doesn't have the best relationship with his stepdad or step siblings, but my boyfriend and I were shocked by this. Why would you be shocked by this? Like, he had to call in, potentially put his job on the line because when you call in or, like, last minute like that, especially when you're 16, he's probably working at, like, a place where they're really mean about that and they don't know boundaries, like retail or fast food, where, like, if you try to call in, they're gonna gaslight you. I'm sorry. It's just typically how it goes. So for him to, like, call in last second, that probably, like, he probably did get in some sort of trouble and he could have potentially gotten fired. So, yeah, I would expect to be paid too. Like, I watched my brother, he's 4 years younger than me. I would, like, watch him and get paid to babysit him just because it teaches you, like, responsibility and it kind of be like allowance for me, but also he lost money. I doubt that he got PTO for calling in. So, yeah, I mean, if he wasn't like, calling in, I could kinda see it if he typically babysits without paying him, but that's still a you problem because you should pay him for babysitting them. My son explained that he had to skip a workday, which cost him to lose money, and asked my boyfriend to pay him for his time, as he should. My boyfriend scolded him harshly and told him that staying home with his stepbrothers isn't babysitting, and he deserves no money for it. One of them's 4 and one of them's 6, so it kinda is babysitting, but, like, go off, whatever. Plus, that skipping one day of work won't do much harm. But my son disagreed and kept arguing with my boyfriend, saying his brothers aren't his responsibility. My boyfriend ended up punishing him and taking away all his electronics as well as canceling his birthday months away. How do you cancel? No. Mm-mm. No wonder your freaking son hates him. What? That is. That makes me mad. That makes me like nauseous because I'm so mad all of a sudden. Okay. My son fought back talking about how unfair this was and asked me to get involved. I sided with my boyfriend because I really did not appreciate how my son used this family emergency to his advantage and thought he'd get money out of helping family out. You screwed him over, though. He's asking to be compensated because he's not going to be compensated by his work. My son didn't like where I stood in this conflict and accused me of favoring my stepkids to stay on my boyfriend's good side while ignoring the mistreatment towards him. I cut the argument and he's become silent ever since, even refused to eat with us or sit with us. Yeah, he's going no contact, buddy, as soon as he can. Once he turns 18, he's never talking to them again. Ever. People are saying, like, why did the moms not stay with the kids while the father took the son to the doctor? Like, there are so many other ways that you could have done this that wouldn't have screwed him over. And he's also a kid too. Like, I feel like they're putting a lot of responsibility on him and they expect him to be an adult. But then when he asks to be compensated like an adult, they're like, no, you're just a kid. It can't be both ways. Like, he is trying to do the best that he can. Ugh, gives me the egg. I have one more, and it's kind of crazy. It's mainly just details how horrible this partner is and how dumb they are. So, if you like seeing people being idiots, this is a good one. Good one to end on. I, 32 male, effed up big time. I broke my wife, 31 female. I don't like the term broke my wife as if she's like a car, but we'll keep going. I, 33 male, married to my wife, 31 female, for 4 years. The starting of the relationship was rainbows and flowers. By the way, English is not their first language, so I'm trying to correct it as I go, but if there's something that is not 100% grammatically correct, let it go, bestie. Let it go. It's not that deep. I wanted to do everything for her. She came from a not so financially stable family. She had never worn expensive clothes and never been on a trip or to a proper restaurant. I was actually very excited that I would be her first time for all these experiences. I wanted to give her the life she never had. I wanted to provide and protect her. Starts out good, right? She was the kind of woman who loves you to the fullest. She has loved me unconditionally. She cooks for me. She has cleaned the house. She did my laundry for me, all while having an 8-hour job a day, same as me. TBH, I felt she was happy to do all these for me. She even tried to learn new recipes for me. I can tell you that someone who works an 8-hour job and still does all the cooking and cleaning in the house is never happy to do it. They do it because they feel like they have to in some way. Whether they feel like you're going to leave them if they don't do it, whether it's cultural, whether it's, I don't know, like they feel like they have to for their own reasons. Like for me, if I don't do enough, I feel like I'm a horrible person and I'm not doing enough. So, whatever the reason may be, no one is happy to do everything on their own while working an 8-hour job a day. Like, it's never because they just love you so much. So we're gonna say that. Life started going south when I started doing gambling. I gambled everything. My savings, her savings, my salary, and I even stole from her. Still, she didn't leave. I started showing all my frustration on her. I became a sadist. It came to an extent that I get relief when I see her sad. That fuck this guy, honestly. I complained about everything she cooked, started threatening her to give me money for gambling, made extremely hurtful comments. Despite all this, she stayed with me. When I look back, there wasn't even a single day for her without crying. Whatever I do, whatever I say, she never left. And I had this confidence that she would leave, so I started taking her for granted. She once made a comment that I treat her like a dog, and I replied that you don't even deserve to be my dog. I cannot fathom how hurtful that must have been for her. Guys, if you're going through anything similar to this, please know that you deserve so much better. No one deserves this. And like this guy, the fact that he's just writing all this out is insane to me. Like it's in relationship advice, but he's just like, yeah, I did this. It sucks that I did this. Like the fact that he's just like, oops, and doesn't realize the gravity of the things that he's saying or doing. Like I heard this thing once and it stuck with me so much. And it's that when a guy breaks up with a girl, he mourns the relationship after. Or when they break up, he mourns it after. But when a girl breaks up with a guy, she typically mourns the relationship before they break up because she tries to do everything she can before giving up. And so then when they do break up, it's just like there's nothing left. Like she's done. She's numb. Which I have seen be very true. Obviously, this is dependent on who breaks up with who. Like, if she breaks up with you, then yeah. But if you break up with her and blindside her, obviously she's still going to be upset about it. So it's not like black and white. But I feel like that is the case where when things start to go south, men are more quick to be like, this sucks. But like women internalize it and try to do everything they can to fix it. And that's like before things get really, really bad. But continuing, a few months back, she got pregnant and we decided to not keep it. But while she was going through the process, rather than being supportive and helpful, for some reason, God knows why, I told her that it wasn't my baby and she messed around and got pregnant. I think something broke inside of her from that time. He didn't say mess around, by the way. He used a much more terrible word that rhymes with core. So he called her that. She started being very silent altogether. However, she kept doing her chores and talked to me in a very polite way. Recently, I left my job. She prepared my CV and applied for me in all the companies. However, I never got a call. She somehow arranged an interview for me in her organization, and the interview was yesterday. I asked for an OTP from her to create a new profile in a gambling platform and threatened her that I won't attend the interview if she refused to give it. But she still refused to give it, and out of spite, I did not attend the interview. Dude, that makes her look bad. Because, like, that, she could then potentially lose her job. And then who's going to have money to support your gambling? Obviously, you shouldn't be gambling. Like, no money should go towards your gambling. You should be done gambling. You need to go to somewhere where they can get that out of you. I know they have addiction places. I would assume that includes gambling, but you need help. And you need to, like, stop being horrifically bad to your partner. She came back home from the office yesterday evening and started shouting at me. I saw a different side of her. She said too many hurtful things, which is unlike her, and she asked me to leave the house. She said hurtful things to you? Dang. Not that I ever want to, fight fire with fire. I believe in karma 100%. But the fact that she finally snapped and you're like, that's so unlike her to be mean. And you've been mean to her for months is crazy. She said I am dead weight and staying at her house rent free. Today I messaged her for something and she replied with, don't effing text me ever again. I don't want to effing see your name in my phone anymore. And then she blocked me. I am dead scared now. I have a feeling that I lost her. You lost her the minute that you started mistreating her, just so you know. I know I effed up. I know I'm the worst person ever. I know she deserves way better. I know that I'm losing her. I realize that I loved her so much. I can't literally live without her. I just need one chance to redeem everything. I want to turn back time and undo everything. I'm ready for anything. I want to give everything for her. Please, I need advice. I want to win her back. Is there a chance for me still? Someone said, haha, I'm glad she left you. Get therapy and leave her alone. Obviously, everybody's saying this is horrible. This is bad. Like, so happy she left. I hope that the divorce is finalized and she's done with you. I wish you nothing but the worst. To say, I realize I actually do love her. Love is an action verb, okay? Love is something that you show every single day. You show love for, like, how you treat someone, how you help someone, how you show up for someone. Okay, you have to continually show someone that you love them. You can't just say I love you and then not follow it up with any sort of action that correlates. Like, you you don't love her. You love that she mommied you. You love that she fed you. You love that she cleaned up after you. You love that she gave you a free place to live. And you're realizing that she really gave you too much and no one else is ever going to probably give you that much again and allow you to act the way that you did because it was so bad and horrific. And I hope that you learn from this, but also part of me hopes that you never find love again. And don't really feel bad about it. Sorry. But that is it. Sorry to end it on such a spooky, ooky, bad one. Like, bad vibes. Like, everybody, let's just take a breath. Breathe in positive vibes and out with all that negative. Okay, do we feel better? I feel better. Do that as many times as you need. Just picture all the positive vibes coming in and the negative going out because gross. But that was the most toxic relationships within reason that I found on Reddit today. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I upload every single Sunday. I want to know your thoughts on everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So if you're on a platform where you can comment, definitely do so. If you like Reddit stories, definitely follow, subscribe, whatever the term is on the platform you're on, because I'm here every week with more stories and more fun and longer episodes now. But I will catch you guys in the flippity flip. I love you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys.